Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're not going to be working on either one of these CRXs, but we're actually going to pull in my buddy Coilovers. Go check him out, Iamcraiggentry. I'll leave a link in the description below. We're going to pull his Integra in and we're going to be doing some work to it, so stick around. Alright, we got Craig's car pulled in here. And what it is, it's a 92 Acura Integra RS. And if you follow his channel, you'll know that he's going to slowly modify this to his liking, make it a little bit nicer, lower it down, things like that. And speaking of lowering, that's actually what we're going to be doing to this car today. He brought in a lot of different parts. We've got coilovers, brake pads, camber arms, a lot of different things here we're going to be putting on the car in this video. I may break this video up to two. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to go yet. So we're going to jump in here and pull this old suspension off and get this thing on the ground. Because as you can see, it is monster trucking. Let's get started on this. It doesn't matter, they're off the ground. Alright, now that I got the front wheel off here, some of the parts that Craig brought us to replace are going to be the brake rotors, the brake pads. We're going to pull this stock shock and spring off, and we're actually going to replace the tie rod in because the ball joint on it is actually, the boot's busted and it's in bad shape. So we're going to start by undoing the suspension and getting this stock shock off of here. Alright, since we've taken off the lower fork from this shock, you want to make sure you have a hold of this shock whenever you undo these bolts, otherwise it's going to hit the ground. Alright, with the coilover installed and complete on this side, we're going to move on to the brakes. So I'm going to pull this brake caliper off, and then we're going to get rid of this rotor and put the new stuff on. Now his brake rotor is not in the worst shape in the world. It could probably be turned out, but for what it's worth, you might as well go ahead and buy some new brake rotors, which is what he's done. These are super cheap, but they're actually the powder coated style that won't rust on the hub portion. So we're gonna get these sprayed off and we're gonna throw them on the car. Alright, here are the pads that we pulled off of his car. Look at this one here. It looks like it wasn't even seated properly all the way on the rotor, or the rotor was the wrong size, because you've got a huge ridge here on the outside there. So hopefully these new pads, we won't see that. We'll make sure that they're lined up with the actual rotor. So let's get these put on. Alright, now that we've got this coilover on, the brake's done, I'm going to move on to this tie rod. I've never done one before, but I mean, how hard could it be? Alright guys, it's a new day here. It got late on us last night, but we did get the front suspension and the brakes done. So today we're going to move on to the back and get the rear coilovers put on and the lower control arms and whatever else Craig brought to us. Okay, we're going to start here on the passenger side. So what we're going to be replacing are the brake rotors, the camber arm, the stock shock, the lower control arm, the brake pads, and actually the front toe adjustment arm as well. And it's on the front of this trailing arm. So there's quite a bit of stuff that we're going to have to actually take off. So I'm just going to start pulling bolts and replacing parts. Alright, so here's the factory rear toe adjustment arm. Craig actually bought some of the TrueHeart adjustable toe arms. So what I'm going to do is match up the factory arm length right now until he goes and gets in alignment, just to try to put it back to factory spec. Okay, with the toe adjustment arm installed and snugged up, I'm going to go ahead and put this trailing arm bushing back into the chassis here, get this trailing arm supported a little bit, and it'll make it easier to get this other stuff installed. Alright, we've got the trailing arm bushing back in the chassis, so I'm going to support the back of this hub with the camber arm, so we're going to go ahead and replace this camber arm. With our camber adjustment arm, we're going to do the same thing we did on the toe adjustment arm. We're going to get the lengths lined up and lock it down and reinstall it. Get this started. Alright, with the suspension all wrapped up on the passenger side, we're going to jump into the brake upgrade, and we're going to pull this caliper off and swap this rotor out. Alright, we had a little bit of trouble with this brake caliper, but we've got this thing back on here now, and we're going to put the pads in and get this thing finished up. Alright guys, it's day 3. We've got most of this done. We're about 75% done. All we have left is the driver's side rear. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into it.
They all get their own little page on the website.
Alright, we got Craig's car all wrapped up. We got the brakes swapped out, all the suspension components he brought in, we got those swapped out. We got the ride height dialed in exactly where he wants it. Whenever he puts his wheels on, he may end up having to adjust it a little bit for the camber adjustment in the back that he's going to have to probably dial in once he gets it aligned. But go check out his channel and you'll be seeing his wheel reveal before long on there. So I'll leave a link down in the description below for his channel. It's Iamcraiggentry. But thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next episode.